Shalom, shalom, Yisrael. Let's start by giving all glory, honor, and praises unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAKODASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone and teaching them well. Peace and salutations be to the elect. Brother Tazo, I'm coming at you from the GMS Tampa branch down here in Tampa, Florida. This lesson's going to be going into flock cameras and flock cameras and a personal testimony on a dream, you know, which I touch bases on it every now and then. I had this a few years ago, but it was definitely a spiritual one. It was heavy, you know, because it started off with me being outside the city with a group of outsiders, you know. There's no better way for me to put it, but outsiders, because we didn't belong in the city. But I didn't know why we were living outside the city, you know. And the dream is like, when you in the dream, it feels like you're living in it, like you've been in these conditions, you know, for years, you know, and that's what it felt like. But when I was in the stream, we were in the city. We weren't in the city, so we were like on the outskirts of the city, living on like a hill. We had a nice little shed and all, and I wouldn't say we were bandits, but we portrayed ourselves to be bandits when this police came through. It was a police officer, it was a woman, you know. So we pretended to be like bandits, and we deceived her. I believe somebody was acting like they needed help or something in the middle of the street to block her from driving through. And then when she got out, we ambushed her. And once she settled down and calmed down, she was able to actually speak with us. And we were asking her questions about the city. How do we get into the city? Which ways, you know, what is the best way to navigate through the city and get to the prison? Because they had little buildings, you know, maybe it's the Walmart. Maybe it was what Walmarts used to be back, you know, in that time. But they were capturing people, what they will call rebels, people who didn't agree with the system of the city, the New World Order, the new system that they set up. Okay, because you had to be tied into the system in order to be in the city. You had to be with their system, their new order, you know. And if you weren't, you know, you couldn't survive in that city. You couldn't live in that city unless they caught you and captured you, arrested you, and, you know, I don't know if it was like FEMA camps or what, but I just know it was like a detention center, you know, for those that were against America's new system, who weren't registered. You were considered to be how they treat immigrants now, you know. It would be considered immigrant, basically, you know. And they had caught one of the brothers that was with us outside the city, you know. And that was just a rough explanation of the setting of the dream. But they caught one of the brothers that was outside of the city before the dream even started, you know. It just started off like that we were looking for our brother, and we were looking for a way to get in the city to get him out, you know. And we captured a female officer. So let me make this quick. I'm getting kind of tired. Just got off of work. Salakia, you know, bear with me. A lot of yawning and salak. So we captured the female officer. We got her to calm down. We started talking to her. She realized we weren't really criminals, that we were just men looking for our brother, you know. And she realized that we were actually righteous men because she became friends with us, you know. And when she heard us talking, we moved her. It was like we moved her to team up with us, you know, and she really wanted to help. And she agreed that the system was crooked and all of that, you know. It was almost like she was a fan. But she agreed to take us into the city. You know, a few of us into the city. I was one of them. And it's lucky. And to help us get to him, you know. She could always just say she was taken hostage, but when we got into the city, I noticed that there was cameras on every building, and these were not ordinary cameras. You know, this is before I ever even heard about flock cameras. You know, I used to just call them. I just thought they were like AI cameras, you know, for the longest. So cameras mingled in with AI. But I believe I had this dream when AI first started like blowing up. But these cameras, man, these cameras are like the all-seeing eye. It was Esau's eye. You know, you can identify you. You can tell who you are, what you do, what you've done, where you're from, where you've been, if you're a part of the system or not. So when these cameras locked onto you, they caught you. That was when they alerted the whole system. They alerted the system, and first thing to pull up was drones. When these cameras saw you, the first thing to pull up was drones. And I remember we were sneaking through the city, and as we were sneaking through, I saw someone getting beat up against the wall, and I can't remember if it was officers beating this guy up or what, but nobody intervened, so it had to be something like that, you know. But this guy was getting his ass beat against the wall, and it seemed right in everybody's eyes in the city. But the way he was whooping his ass, man, it was brutal, you know. It was like they were trying to kill this man. They were whooping him against the wall, and who knows, he may have gotten in trouble with the enforcement, whatever it may have been, you know. Which I just recently had another dream about IDF soldiers being the new police in America, and they were very brutal. And when they caught you, if you did the slightest thing to get in trouble, they beat you really bad, and you had really bad consequences. You know, they got something coming out called the Noahide laws that they're trying to implement to the best of their ability, you know, where you can get the death penalty for just about any kind of rebelliousness, you know. But and then it was like in that dream, once you get in trouble with the IDF soldiers, it's either run or die, you know, because they come in and they might kill you, and they might take your woman in front of you and kill your children. And that's how it was in that dream. But that's another topic for another day. This dream, this testimony, which is what the lesson is based off of, is these cameras, man. So once we passed those guys, that guy getting his ass beat against the wall, we went into a building. We were going towards this building, and the camera turned. It was a camera on the front of it, on the top, that turned and caught us, and it turned red, and it was like flashing red, you know. And I guess it identified that I wasn't a part of the system. So as soon as we ran inside of the building, as soon as we got inside the door, the drones were already surrounding the building. You see? So that was the first thing that pulled up when these cameras caught you. These drones would catch you. So like the camera would catch you, and then the drones would come, because the drones were the fastest thing to get to you. The drones will come, and then once the drones get there, they could send out shocks. They could shock you, like they had like tasers or whatever, man. But they also had guns on them. But their job was to hold you there, you know, and not let you escape until officers, actual human officers, pulled up. You know, so while we're entering the building, the drones came out to the front, and as soon as we seen them, we started running. But the female officer that was with us, she was helping us get there, and we were on foot. The female officer that was with us, she turned and started shooting at the drones, and the drones like tased or whatever, and she dropped to the floor, and it started firing back at all of us. So we had to jump, we had to hide behind like drawers and stuff and maneuver our way into the next room to get away. But at the end of that dream, I just remember getting to the building where my brother was being kept. I remember opening the door and seeing a bunch of prisoners, and then I woke up. But this is what I have, and that was the end of that dream. That was the end of that testimony. But this is what I have for flock cameras, what I found here. So what happens when a flock camera reads your plate? It says camera captures your vehicle, plate number, make, model, color, and distinguishing features recorded instantly. Data uploaded to nationwide database, searchable by 5,000 plus law enforcement agencies across the country. System checks hot lists, active warrants, stolen vehicles, bolos, and immigration alert scanned automatically. I don't know what bolos is. It says 4 real-time alert sent to officers. Nearest patrol unit receives notification within seconds of the hit. So if you get in a car accident, whatever it may be. Number 5, traffic stop initiated. Officer pulls you over based on the alert, often without independent verification. You had a video that came out recently where this guy was getting pulled over, and the cop kept telling him that the flock camera noticed that he had a plate that didn't belong to him or something like that. And he assumed the car was stolen because it wasn't his plates or whatever. And the guy was assuring him it was his, or it was something. So like it was something on his plate that traced back to the previous owner. But he kept telling the officer that it wasn't his. It didn't have anything to do with him, and it was a big scene cause. But it says number 6, arrest, search, or immigration encounter. What started as a drive past a camera becomes a criminal case. At every stage, there are constitutional challenges, but only if your attorney knows where to look. Brancato law. Oh, that's who made the post. Brancato law firm. So that's that picture. I'm gonna put it up as the. I'm gonna use it as the wallpaper. Well, let's grab a few scripts and close it out. Just so you know that we're in that time. You see, Habakkuk 2:3 tells you what? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So see, the vision that I opened up this lesson with. I had this years ago, right when AI was just starting to blow up. If not before, so I've never heard of a flock camera. I've never heard of these cameras that can identify you here, there, or wherever, But as the scripture say here, Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. So you see the vision is speaking. This devil wants ultimate control. He's coming down with that NWO, that New World Order. Okay, that image of the beast. Okay, it says, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. He has sharpened his sword and his blessing, his technology to do what? To monitor your every step, to trace you back, to wherever, But one of the things we read here on the flock camera thing. It says, number 2, it says, data uploaded to nationwide database, searchable by 5,000 plus law enforcement agencies across the country. That one is a red flag. And not only that, but here's the other one. It says, number 4, real-time alert sent to officers. Nearest patrol unit receives notification within seconds of the hit. Okay, so not just seconds of the hit, but seconds of what? You see, of anything. Okay. Devil's looking for you. You on a run. You trying to get away. You run past a flock camera. And guess what? In seconds, the whole city of officers know where you at. And they on your ass. There is no more escaping these officers, man. There is no getaways, high-speed chases, and not only that as well, but think about fleeing into the next city. How are you going to get into the next city if these flock cameras on your ass? You see, and they're notifying nationwide, not just in the city, but nationwide. How are you going to get to the next city? As the scriptures say, a man shall desire to enter into a city and shall not be able. Right? You ain't gonna be able to enter into these next cities trying to get away or trying to hide or trying to run. That's why we're gonna need the Lord, because look what he's done with his technology. He has weaponized his technology and sharpened his sword to a point, to the finest point. Matter of fact, let me grab that here and let's grab it. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 41. If I wet my glittering sword, which wet goes into sharpen, and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies and will reward them that hate me. You see? And what's the Lord's sword? These Edomites, which King David said, deliver me from thy sword, which is the wicked. Okay, if I wet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies and will reward them that hate me. Which this one's good, but not the one I'm looking for. So let me grab this one. And Ezekiel. So that's what I was looking for. The book of Ezekiel, son of man. Ezekiel chapter 21 verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. Ooh, so that sword is sharpened to make a sore slaughter, man. All right. On who? You Israelites, man. It says, it is furbished that it may glitter. You see? When you hear flock cameras, you see, what the fuck? This devil got a camera that can do what now? You see, they've updated. There's constant updates coming out. Constant upgrades. And what these updates and upgrades is Esau sharpening his sword. That sword being sharpened, as described here in Ezekiel. Shall we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And who's that slayer? Esau Edom. Okay, what scripture says, a cunning hunter. By thy sword thou shalt live. This is Esau Edom. That's the slayer. You see? So that sword has been placed right into his hand to do what? Make a sore slaughter on who? It says, cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh. You see? Cry and howl, because this is coming to who? Jake. That's why that time is called what? Jacob's trouble. Let's grab in the book of Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. The scriptures say there's no day that's going to be like this one. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Now we know that that day is going into a time period, okay, which is going to be a time of tribulation and trouble for Jacob. And who's Jacob? These so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So that day is going to be very troublesome for you, you see? There is no more escaping. Matter of fact, if we go back and look at this picture again, it says what? Number 3 says system checks hot lists. It's checking the hot list, all right, to see if you on the fucking hot list. And also the heading of this picture says, what happens when a flock camera reads your plate? From capture to arrest in seconds. Ooh. But number 3 here says system checks hot list. Active warrants. If you on a hot list, if you got an active warrant, driving a stolen vehicle, a bolo. What the fuck is a bolo? Let's look this up real quick. But just keep that on the side note. It says, and immigration alerts scanned automatically. They're going to be able to tell if you're an immigrant. You see? Immigrants can't drive a car. They got to register the cars. If an immigrant register a car, like a flock camera read that tag, trace it back to that person, and then they try to check the database to see if this person's a citizen or a resident or what, or alien or whatever. Guess what? It's going to alert the nationwide database. Everybody knows, you know, the whole, what does it say? Number 2, data uploaded to nationwide database, searchable by 5,000 plus law enforcement agencies across the country. You see, the whole nation on your ass now. Here it is, you all the way in Texas, on Martin Luther King Road, whatever, driving down the street, a flock camera just happened to catch your ass. You see, you accidentally run a light, or you going past the speed limit, whatever. That motherfucker take a picture of your shit, and all of a sudden you find out that the whole nation finds out there's an immigrant running a light on MLK Road. You see, but it's going to alert. What does it do? It alerts the nearby patrol officers. As it says here in number 4, real-time alert sent to officers. It says nearest patrol unit receives notification within seconds. Okay, so it's going to notify those nearest patrol officers within seconds. By the time you get to the gas station, wherever your destination is, them niggas going to be on your tail, man. Okay, so you see how this devil is clutching down on the security in his country. Why do you think he's doing these things? You see? And then you just had a big incident happen in Taiwan. And what is Taiwan? What's the battle in Taiwan about? It's over computer chips. It's over chips. Microchips, okay, computer chips, bionic chips for phones, okay, all sorts of chips. It's what keeps America running on its technology. Okay, but you also got them RFID microchips being distributed from there, man. I think they said that's where 60 to 70% of the world's chips come from. Okay, and everybody's using computers, everybody's using phones, and in order for Esau to update his systems and sharpen his sword even more, he's going to need Taiwan. He's going to need those chips to be distributed from Taiwan, and that's the power struggle between America and China over Taiwan. They're trying to figure out who's going to get to that new system first. And you see what China's got going on. They got cameras on every building already. A guy was taking a shit in a public restroom. Before he can go in and reach in for the tissue, he had to scan his face. Okay? Now the whole database knows he's taking a shit at McDonald's. He had to scan his face to see if he was a criminal, to check his social credit score, see if he's going against the government, you know, whatever it may be, before it allows him to get that tissue. So you ain't even going to be able to wipe your ass in peace in a public restroom, you know, if you got a warrant, if you don't agree with Esau's New World Order, if you just so happen to be an immigrant, you know, which brings me back to that testimonial dream. You know, imagine going into a city, you're trying to get into a bathroom to take a shower or whatever it may be, go inside of a gym or a public restroom, whatever, take a shower, clean yourself up, wash yourself, or just relieve yourself with some tissue. You know, you got to scan your face or scan your hand, you see, which they're going to implement these chips very soon. Okay, which brings me back to the topic of Taiwan in the first place. Something big just happened over there, and they throwing down. You see? And it's all over these computer chips. It's all over the acceleration of the NWO, the New World Order. Who's going to become the world's next superpower? And that's what the fight over Taiwan is really about. It's not something so simple as, oh, we're just fighting over computer chips. No, they're fighting over the future. You see, they're fighting over the future throne, okay? Which somebody's going to have to assume that throne and remain in power, okay, by 2030. And that's what Agenda 2030 is all about. All right. But, yeah, this shit's about to get real. Okay, we finished that Ezekiel. Yeah, now we're on Jeremiah 30:7. We finished that. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's that he that's going to be saved out of it? The elect. Okay, Jacob's going to be delivered through the elect, and then they're going to come back through the elect's loins. All right, the firstborn. Okay. Not sure. Let's grab this. This is how controlling this devil is. You see? Daniel 7:25 says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saint to the Most High, and think to change times and laws. This devil's changing the laws, man, to what? To bend around his benefit. Last year, beginning of the year, you had what? About 200 representatives, lawmakers, okay, over there in Israel, being educated on law. Why are they being educated on law by Israel? They've been educated on the Noahide laws, you see, which we can grab. I'm going to put Noahide laws on back burner because I did say I was going to grab that bolos. We can grab those two things, and then we can close out with that. What are bolos? What are bolos concerning flock cameras? Oh, a bolo means be on the lookout, and hot lists in real time to instantly notify law enforcement when a vehicle of interest is spotted. Wow, vehicle of interest. And these devils know, you know, they look you up in the database, and it's tied to your name, what kind of car you drive, car insurance, your license, what kind of license you have, you know. They make, what does it say? Real-time matching. As a vehicle passes a camera, the system captures the license plate and visual attributes, make, model, color, roof racks, bumper stickers, and checks them against active databases within seconds. You see? So it'll flag you. Okay, these cameras will flag your ass, and then the next time it'll catch you, it'll alert the database, the whole nation, that it saw you. You see? So, there's no escape. There's no escaping this devil now. I said, be on the lookout. These devils got notes through their AI. Their AI is passing notes around talking about be on the lookout for this type of car. Somebody you're never looking for. They know the prophets they know the prophets' cars. You know. It says, the Noahide laws are a set of 7 universal moral commandments found in Jewish rabbinic tradition, in parentheses, the Talmud. They are believed to be given by God to all of humanity through Noah and Adam. And it says, non-Jews who follow these laws are viewed as righteous people. The 7 laws, it says, no idols, do not worship false gods or idols. So to them, Yahawah Basham Shai would be considered a false god or an idol to these Edomites, these devils. You see? So if you're worshiping Yahawah Basham Shai or anybody but who they call God, who they worship and serve, okay, they can persecute you for it. Okay, and if you break these laws, well, we'll get into it. It says, no cursing God. Do not curse or blaspheme the Creator, which in their eyes, as scripture say in Isaiah, they say, I shall be like the Most High, right? They think that they are God. Esau has a God-like complex, you see? So they believe themselves to be God. That's why do you think they call everybody else Goyim? Okay? They don't consider themselves to be Goyim. They consider themselves to be God over earth. It says, no murder, do not take a human life, no sexual immorality, avoid forbidden acts like incest or adultery, no theft, do not steal from others, no live animal cruelty, do not eat a limb or flesh torn from a living animal. It says, set up courts, create a legal system to enforce justice. Wow, see? All about justice. Purpose and meaning. It says, they serve a basic moral code for a fair and peaceful society. Unlike Jewish law, which has 613 commandments for Jewish people, these 7 rules apply to all people everywhere. You do not need to convert to Judaism to follow them. Keeping them makes a person righteous before God. That's what that was. What happens if you break a Noahide law? It says, breaking a Noahide law brings consequences under traditional Jewish law, which includes spiritual accountability, local legal action, and potential capital punishment in a theoretical strict sense. What's that capital punishment? Beheading. You see, they're bringing that back into play. It's not so much those Noahide laws that's coming into play. They're gonna make their own fucking laws, but it's the consequences that come from breaking these laws is what they're bringing into play. You see, beheading, firing squad. Why do you think Trump talking about that? Why do you think these devils got smart guillotines now? You put your head over the board, AI senses it and immediately chops it. Okay, they say they chop it. That thing takes like 50,000 heads. No, not 50,000, it's a lot. What did it say, like 30 heads an hour? 100 heads an hour? Some shit, I don't know. It was a huge number. But they move fast, man. Okay, so, and it's not like they don't make a big deal about one death. They just throwing you in there like cattle. You know, they throwing your ass right in the smart guillotine and getting it over with. And this guy's name is this and that and this. Nah, man. You throw your ass in there for breaking the Bibi Netanyahu's laws. You must receive capital punishment, and the judgment is beheading. They're gonna drop the fucking blade on your head. You ain't gonna be all of that. It's just gonna put your ass in there. You're gonna be in a line, put your ass in there, and drop the blade. But I truly hope this lesson was edifying to you. I cannot want to listen and shoot with sincerity. Until next semester, I give all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Shalom.